Okay everybody, so we're back here with more development. Now, between the last video and this video, I did do quite a bit of work. I started implementing energy handling. When I started implementing energy handling, I realized that there was a few other things that needed to be done. The ammo system is now built up to use the JSON injection system. The JSON injection system now uses converter objects. I can go show this real quick. Let me go grab the core. Okay, so we have converters now. So converter is pretty straightforward. You got a key, you got a convert call. In the case of pause, it literally just converts. I did move the JSON conversion from the pause class to here. I put it in the pause class originally thinking, hey, somebody else could use this method, and I forgot that that means the API is then dependent on the JSON lib in order to function, which should already be included with Forge, but I don't want to add unnecessary dependencies. This is hooked into the loading system. Converters, by the way, are registered into the JSON loader, but then the actual injection system is where everything is used. There was a few other issues that had to be corrected. There were some conversion problems with casting. We were also not catching exceptions in case the object, so in case this thing was not an injectable object, I had to fix that as well. There were a few other issues that had to be checked and validated and confirmed and worked with, and etc., etc. More work still needs to be done on this to make this fully work, and I'm probably going to migrate this to just a straight out injection system, period, instead of using it just for JSON. I want to start using it for configs, I want to start using it for settings, variables, a whole bunch of other things that it can be used for. I know Forge already has a config system, but I kind of want to, of course, use my own custom. I want to migrate away from using Forge stuff and Minecraft stuff directly, so that way when I make mods, they easily port over multiple versions. So this will end up actually fixing that issue. We'll end up using this for quite a bit of things in order to make it work. Because after all, this is a really perfect solution to injecting data using reflection. Moving on. Cleaned up the rotation system a little bit. Is now tied into the JSON conversion system, so we can now convert. So any type of conversion we put into the JSON thing, like we have object handling, we have JSON handling. They will be handling for other things, like there's primitive type handling now. There's probably going to be string handling. There's probably going to be more complicated object handling in here. I do plan to add a converter for point and location, although I do not recommend people using location because that is world dependent and will depend on a dimension ID and not a world name. Although I could tie it into using a world name, but the likelihood of it functioning properly is really low. So it is highly recommended if it does get used, use a dimension ID and then figure out some way to ensure that dimension ID is correct. When it comes to -1, 0, and 1, which are the vanilla dimension IDs, you won't have to worry about anything. But when you start to use other things, so dimensions that are modded, those dimension IDs are not always consistent. So keep that in mind. What else do we have to talk about? I started migrating the sentry gun to its own object. When I originally wrote this, I wrote everything inside the entity class. If you guys are familiar with that, that was the way I was heading. I was mistaken on doing it this way because I completely neglected that I have to make a minecart and an over-the-shoulder sentry gun for a backpack item. Both of those would require to have a sentry object rather than entity. Because if we did an entity, we probably could get the minecart to work by making the sentry gun tether to the minecart or something, but that would not be as smooth of a functionality as we want. So instead, we're going to want to make a minecart that then has a sentry object. Then the minecart does all the handling for the sentry object. Rather, it handles all of the redirect calls for the sentry object. Like this is going to do this, does the redirect calls. So this handles size for the collision box, handles positioning changes, handles the update calls. It also keeps track of our delta, so we don't have to store our delta in our sentry. Interact calls, it redirects energy and inventory back to the host. This does have a secondary host. So all sentry hosts use a host object, and what's cool with this sentry gun is if you want to chain this to something else, all you got to do is provide a sentry host and it automatically will chain properly. Of course, you will have to update the entity sentry. The host that this does use is the tile sentry class. This has been cleaned up quite a bit. We now store a sentry object, a stack, and an entity. This is the only three things we store on the entity. The bottom two are synchronized to the client, and then from the stack, the sentry is created, and from the sentry, the entity is initialized. So when we go to actually send our stack data, when we go to read it, we actually utilize this, and this is tied into the packet handler as well. So we actually send our ID like we were doing. We send the stack. We then write the Boolean to see if we have a sentry gun. We then translate the sentry gun's data now. This is a big change that I implemented that was going to be implemented here later, is the sentry gun is going to be responsible for synchronizing all of its own data. What I was doing, and I wasn't really thinking this through, this is the part where if you don't design your solution, you screw yourself up. The sentry gun needs to be responsible for everything it does, all of its own data. So if we were using the entity still, that means the entity should have been responsible for its status syncing, for everything. But we were doing a lot of this inside of the tile. So we were syncing, are we alive? We were syncing, do we have ammo? We were syncing HP values, a few other things. Now we're not doing that. Now we're literally just keeping track of the entity, which is the host for the sentry. We're keeping track of the sentry, and we're keeping track of its stack. And that's it. This makes this class really reusable, really easy to work with. This means in the future, if we want to make a different tile to host things, if we wanted to do like multi-block sentry guns or something, it's really easy to migrate this tile. It also means that with this sentry object here, we can start migrating it to do player-based sentry turrets, which will come later. We'll migrate all of the AI logic out to a separate class, and then we'll leave all the base stuff into here. Right now this should work. It is going to probably crash, and that's what we're going to handle today in this video. We're going to get this stabilized and running, and I'm going to show you what happens when you try to rewrite something and don't have a plan. So that's kind of the lesson for this video. I've already fixed I don't know how many bugs between yesterday and last night, because the whole reason why I ended up working on this is I had to wait for a class to start, and I was like, you know what, I don't feel like recording. Let's just flip on YouTube or something and wait for the class to start. And then the class started and it lasted 20 minutes. I was like, well, crap, I'm going to be awake for another hour after this. Actually, I ended up staying awake to about midnight, which is unusual for me because I've been trying to keep a consistent sleep schedule, which didn't happen. And because of that, I got up late this morning. So, yeah. Sleep schedules are probably the most important thing as a developer. They don't really teach us anywhere. People end up finding out the hard way, or they get told by a colleague who's found it out the hard way. When you do anything creative, actually you do anything in general, you want to make sure you get sleep, you want to make sure you get social interaction, you want to make sure you eat, you take breaks, stuff like that. Work is important, but it's not more important than your well-being. It's actually something that got taught in Boy Scouts, that you have to balance like all three sides of a triangle, which is social, work, and health. Actually, it wasn't. I don't think work was in that pyramid. It was like social, health, I think maybe spirit or something. I don't know. Boy Scouts is slightly religious, and I didn't pay attention to any of the religious stuff because I'm not exactly religious myself. Not to say I'm an atheist, because I do have a belief system, but it's closer to, I believe, the Three Masons belief system, where they believe in basically a giant clockmaker. Now, they use that analogy. I don't know if that's actually what they believe, but they believe that rather than God have created the universe and then continued to interact with it, they believed he created the universe and then left. He did all the initial stuff like build the planets, design life, but he didn't stick around to boss people around. Okay, so we do have quite a few bugs to work around. Okay, so we're not initializing the sentry's host. So we're going to want to do that. So there's a set sentry call here. Yeah, and then we're not setting the host. So this will go tile.sentry.host. Or is there a set host? No, there's not a set host call. Host is protected. We're going to make this public for the moment. So we need to make sure that gets all set up. And we'll set it as this. And of course, this will wrapper itself to the tile object. So any call that comes through to this object will go to the tile. So the tile is actually where we're storing our inventory and where we're storing our power. Yeah, let's try this again. Going to be quite a few of these bugs to fix. And then hopefully we'll get everything working. It's not the brightest idea for me to do this rewrite, but I looked at it like, if I keep piling code on top of this, doing a rewrite later is just going to be harder. This is actually the problem why I'm having trouble updating to newer Minecraft versions, is I've got so much code layered on top of older code that is just absolutely derelict, that trying to update is struggling to happen. mean, we took a couple swings at updating. Like me and my interns tried to update Volts Engine a while back to 1.8. We got like some code working, and then ended up just being a waste of time. The plan now is to slowly migrate our existing framework and structure to a non-Minecraft dependent structure. Once we get to that point, then we separate out the Minecraft dependent code from the actual Volts Engine core and API. So the core and API will be non-Minecraft dependent and they'll be separated, and then there'll be a wrapper object that will run Volts Engine that will be Minecraft dependent. And all you would have to do is download that Minecraft dependent section, although it'll come pre-packaged with Volts Engine. So you just download Volts Engine for 1.8 or Volts Engine for 1.9. And then any mod that needs to run on Volts Engine will just run. You won't have to download a version dependent for each one. At least that's the plan. It's going to take a while to get to work. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the month, of course, but like I said last month, that was the plan for last month and it didn't happen. Although the plan we got now, so this whole design we've got is much stronger than the last one. So the design we've been running with for about a year to try to work was called the abstraction layer. I've been poking at it and running it, and I found out it's just too much work to port to it, because I went and decided, you know what, we'll design the abstraction layer to completely make it fully functional, then we'll port to it. And I started porting to it, and I was like, well, crap, there's just too much code here. The new design is to slowly migrate. Okay, so we got rendering, we got tile interaction. We're not synchronizing rotation. It's actually just about it. We're not synchronizing rotation. So this is good. This actually just means there's not a lot to really work on. So we just got to do saving and synchronizing. So for this, I think we can just call, actually we can probably save ourselves time and just going, if the host is an instance of something, we just set the host rotation, but we'll synchronize it because it's more efficient this way. So I think we can just do current aim dot write bytes. And we can do current aim dot read bytes. This is a really nice thing that I have these interfaces for reading and writing bytes, so I can just do that. And we'll go ahead and we'll do the actual aim.read bytes, so we'll synchronize a lot of data. Unfortunately, this does mean there will be a bit of packet information going back, but it won't be any more than a zombie. Zombies already do this. They synchronize a lot of data. Why? Oh, because I did read bytes instead of read byte buff. There we go. And then it'll be aim.write bytes. It's interesting why these aren't called the same thing. Oh. That's why they're not called the same. It's not using the method. Let me go back to the sentry class so I can find it real quick. So it's this right here. And this will be public Euler angle read. Put this here, and then we want to call this method, and we want to deprecate the old one. So this would be, actually we don't even need to deprecate, we'll just leave it as is. Well, I mean, we don't need a redirect call, that's what I actually meant to say. We do need to deprecate it. That means we can call read bytes and then write bytes. That works. So if we run this, I'm seeing this work. See, the smoke trail indicates where the sentry is actually aiming. That's for my debug purposes. These two guns over here are probably not even running because they ran out of ammo. Yeah, they both ran out of ammo. There is a check now that if it runs out of ammo, it stops functioning. That is entirely intentional. Oh, you know why this isn't running? We can't reload because we actually edited a method. Let me actually synchronize since we did that. Unfortunately, source trees, I don't understand why it's set up this way. Every time you reload it, so if I close it and reopen it, it drops all my tabs. So I have to go through here and I have to grab all of my tabs again. And actually, I need to open these up in a certain order so that way they're easy to navigate. And it's really sluggishly slow too, if you don't notice. It's taking a while to actually load. It takes a while to process anything. And this computer got restarted today too. I didn't intend for it to restart, hence the reason why I have to redo my tabs. Is Windows Update hit it and just turned everything off, and I was like, crap. I left my entire workspace running last night. Any prefab changes? No. Probably change API. Okay. Applied read byte buff to healer angle. There's like 3 different rotation classes, by the way, in the API. There's elu angle, there's a matrix rotation, and there's quanturns, or however you pronounce them. Start with the Q. Basically, we've got all 3 methods of rotation supported. Doesn't exactly help though. The quaternions, or however you pronounce them, it's the best solution. Matrix is the most commonly used, but has its own drawbacks. I prefer elu angles because they're so easy to work with. All you got to do is do some trigonometry and you're done. Matrices have a problem that when you hit certain boundary limits that they fail, and we discovered that the hard way. Anyways, we got current aim is being synchronized. I need to go to the render class and check to see what's being happening. Cool. I did apply a rotation system to the sentry gun, so all you have to do is call yaw and pitch to get the current yaw and pitch. So this is wrappered. The whole sentry will eventually be encapsulated in an interface. So there'll be something called iSentry, and that means any mod can come in, write their entire own sentry gun from scratch, and then piggyback all of our sentry systems. They'd probably have to handle their own spawning, so I'll have to add a listener system for creating sentry and everything else, but that'll happen later. That'll probably happen right around the same time I fully finish the missiles doing the same thing. The missile system is designed with the same concept in mind. It will eventually be ported to a JSON system identical to the Armory mod. So there'll be a registry of missiles per size, and you'll be able to load all kinds of different meshes and models from stuff. There'll be versions which are completely unique, so there'll be missiles that are designed for specific purposes. Then there'll be ones that are just skins. So there'll be missiles that are just designed to be alternative visuals, and that's the main one I'm actually geared towards doing. Is I want to let people make their own customizations. I want to do especially textures, so people can have absolute troll textures, or they can do military themed textures. So they can do a Russian paint job on it, USA, France, China, whatever. This will also let server owners sell skin packs too. That is one of the reasons why we're doing it. I don't like the idea of it happening, but it is a good way for both mod developers and server owners to make income by selling skin packs. Oh man, I got something stuck in my throat. Luckily, I muted my mic when I coughed this time. But yeah, it's the whole idea of being able to sell skin packs. It'll let people who have disposable income to pay like $1, maybe get 4 or 5 skins, and they'll be able to customize their missile with decently quality art and whatever. I won't be monitoring this whole market transaction system, so this market transaction will happen per server. Eventually, we may make our own marketplace for this, but it will be limited, to say the least. Because after all, I don't want to be dealing with finances directly. That's the whole plan. Although we're probably going to work out something with server owners for a royalty-based system, but if we ever do that, there will be a pre-approval process, so you will have to apply to sell skin packs, and you'd have to give us your exact details of how you plan to make money and how you plan to ensure users are taken care of and be responsible and everything else. It probably means you'd have to be a legal licensed corporation that would have an employee identification number and everything else for tax information. As we would probably have to give tax information, and that means that's not going to happen for a couple years. When we go to make it, we're probably going to make a free version of it, so there'll just be a website where there'll be skins, and you would just check mark skins you want to have downloaded to your computer, and the mod would automatically synchronize with your account and go like, oh, I want to download all these skins, and you'd be good to go. Anyways, this seems to be working. So the porting over to the sentry system does seem to function. I need to watch to see if it does damage. There is a rounding. See the precision rounding issue right there? Man, that's there's a way to fix that actually. And apologies for the coughing again. Apparently, like every time I get up in the morning, it's pretty much that for a couple hours. You would think hot tea would fix it, but it doesn't. Alright. There is a string formatting system. So okay, I'm gonna have to Google it. I don't use string formatters enough to know how to use them. Okay, it's called a formatter. Formatter, something, formatter formats. Example expected usage. String builder. So the system out format, I don't want a convenient system. I want, oh, there's a string format. Here we go. That's exactly what I want. So we want to go string.format. So we got the here, and what we would do is present 3.2f, I think is how we would work. And then there'd be a comma here. And it'd be a thing like that. And yeah, that's exactly what we want. So we just need to take this down here. And the reason I'm copying and pasting it, I can retype pitch it a little faster than I can type in the other numbers. And that should do the trick. Yes. And what we just did is we said, okay, we want to format the numbers so that we only have 3 leading numbers in the front and 2 after the decimal. Looks a lot cleaner, looks really smooth. Lets us see our rotation code, but then it's not obnoxiously large. So remember how to use these. These are actually really useful. I just had to look it up because I mean I need to start using this stuff because there's so many places down here where using a formatter is much more efficient than doing the way I do it. At least in theory it is. In reality, I don't know how the backends of these ever even work. Yeah, it just makes a new formatter, so we're making a jump object. The reality of it, we would probably want to make an object and then feed it things and do things with it. Ooh. It's not too bad, I guess. It does an array. But it makes the array out of parse. Parsing uses a regex-based system to pull out keys. So it's not really more efficient than what I use, but it is easier to use, I guess. That's the important thing. One thing we do want to do is we want to synchronize the status. We've been storing the status so we can tell what our sentry gun is doing. I now want to synchronize this so that way we can visually see what it's doing. So this would be status equals byte buff utils dot read UTF string from buff. And then down here in our right thing, we just want to do the same thing, except in reverse. And my computer is cooking my leg right now. I think I need to start considering taking it and picking it up off the ground. Because of the fact that I think the vent on the underside is not really working. I built a metal tray to make sure it had a ventilation path. And that doesn't seem to be doing anything good for it. Anyways, we want to move these guys up by 0.2. And we want to run another string right above it. This will be the status message. So we'll just go status and then %s. This will be get sentry dot status. Nothing complicated. Okay, status attacking, searching, aiming. Cool. We need to move it up a lot higher, or actually I need to, oh, you know what, we'll do that. So we're gonna take this, put this to 0.5, and we'll do this to 8, and we'll see what that looks like. Ah, good enough. That one needs to be fixed. There's a height check I probably could do, so we could do body height. So I'm gonna go. RY is the center point. So we're getting the center point of the tile, and then we're rendering via something. So we're gonna do something like this: double height equals get sentry doesn't equal null. By the way, we do null checks because the sentry is null for like the first few ticks of when the thing starts. Get sentry data is never null though. It is actually can't be null or the game doesn't work. So we want to get body height, and we do that. And we could just do body height plus y. That seems to be the easiest issue, or easiest solution to the issue right now. Yeah. A little high off the ground. It does work though. We can't really complain. And this tells us, so like these guys are reloading. We could just set their status to no ammo. So this guy's searching for targets, unknown state, searching for targets, unknown. He's going to fluctuate back and forth between that. He's aiming, so that means something's coming into the edge of his circle and then leaving. Attacking, target lost. Target died, actually, is what that ended up being. A lot of really useful information, though. That means we can really see what the AI is doing in real time. We do need to change our packet system to be quicker, is a way to put it. I'm going to probably just... Where's the... No, actually, we'll do it this way. There is a system I could do that would be so much nicer. Taz, don't even think about it. Okay, so... Yeah, I don't... The same thing happened yesterday. This dog decides to realize I'm recording and is like, hey, pay attention to me. Get packet refresh rate. Return to. So we can get the packet refresh rate onto the tile, and this will let us essentially figure out what's going on. And that lets us synchronize our packet system quicker. We don't have to worry about entity refresh rate. Entity refresh rate's already handled by the sentry. I changed to a system here where there's a Boolean return. And that return returns false if it updated, true if it updates. That way we can call this as many times as we want, or etc. And this ends up being tick refresh rate as well. So the usefulness of this is this means we could customize this via JSON or config system, etc., etc. And what are we at time-wise? 28 minutes. Just got more data to synchronize here. So you know what? I'm going to cut this here and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I went ahead and let my dog outside and got some sunlight myself here. So we're back to working on this. We finished some synchronization things. We need to synchronize some more data. The is ammo check and is alive checks need to be synchronized. You know what? I'm not going to do an is alive check. We're going to synchronize HP instead. So we need to keep track of HP. This actually should be status. So HP is a float-based system. And it's based on max HP. So when we go to create this, we want to go health equals sentry data dot get body. No, get HP. That's poorly named. Get max health. We can just set max health. And we'll rename this to max health as well, so we keep consistent with our data. And of course our var is already called max health. We got this set as an integer, and that does work. Even though, yeah, it'd be fine. Oh shoot, I wanted to keep sentry open. Sentry getting down. Anyways, so max health, this I believe defaults at 20, so that'll work. We will have to save and load this. This will be a save and load based system. We do need to save and load quite a few things here. Has ammo does not need to save and load. That actually is an active check pretty much. So we just need to synchronize that. We need to synchronize running and turned on. Yeah, won't be too hard to do. So write, we're going to go buff dot write boolean. Even after spending a while outside, my throat's all still scratchy. I want to blame allergies, but I don't think I actually have allergies. Let's see. Doesn't matter what order we actually send these, but we do have to read them back in the same order. We're going to be sending has ammo, that way we don't have to synchronize the entire gun object, although we may end up still doing that later. If we do it later, then we can maybe get rid of the has ammo check. For the moment, we need it for the render code. Hopefully that blender can be heard in the background. Okay. That gets us our status variables. Do we synchronize reloading too? I don't think we need to synchronize reloading. We do need to synchronize health. So we want to go health equals buff dot read float. And then we want to go buff dot write float health. Okay, that'll give us our health variable. And this will be tied back into the entity object, so the entity object will have a health HP in the system. We actually should set that up. Unfortunately, the way with this is designed, I may end up having to make this an entity living here later just to get these zombies to target it properly. I think I can make it work. I think I can make them attack it, but I may have to tweak a few things, and making it maybe an entity living base would probably open up a little bit more flexibility, but I'll handle that later. When it comes to the minecarts and stuff, I'm probably going to have to use an entity anyways, and it won't be entity living base because minecarts extend entity directly. There's a lot of complex nuances and stuff that go with this. Is there a get health method? Yeah, there's already a get health system. Huh. We may just extend entity directly in like 2 seconds because there's a lot of crap here that we don't need. Yeah. Maybe. Trying to think of exactly how to handle this. Yeah, we're just going to extend entity directly because I don't want that extra junk I have in there. So import class. This does mean we're going to need to implement a few methods. Yeah, I probably could make another class that doesn't have HP in it. I don't know why that one does. It probably has something to do with the missiles, because I know the missiles have HP. I think we're good here. If we hit build, it should run properly. And we just got to add these two methods. Oh man, that blender is loud. I hopefully that doesn't being picked up by the mic. So we want to do get sentry dot health equals etc etc. This would be get sentry dot get sentry data get max HP minus damage. Actually, no, this needs to be health. No, health. There we go. And we want to basically go, if this is this way, then we just want to go, okay, on to straight, we're dead. So, we don't need to set the entity to dead. We do need to toggle a dead state. So we're going to go get sentry dot turned on equals false. And we want to go get sentry dot running equals false. We'll put an event in here. We'll put some listeners in here later. We'll put some listeners for the attack damage here so we can turn friendly fire on. There's a can harm method here. What is this? Is machine false. Can damage. Okay, we don't care about this. The thing is, if we extend entity living base, we get a ton of extra junk in here. And I actually, honestly to God, mean that. There's a ton of stuff in here that is almost never used by most entities. Because it stores your health, hurt time, death time, attack time, absorption amounts. So there's actually a variable in like how much damage you can take. I think it's what that is. Active potion effects. And the thing is, we're not a living entity. So we want to hit Control Z. Because we just want to utilize entity base, and we're going to have to modify AIs. And what I mean by that is if we go to the entity zombie, here's all the zombies AI tasks are right here. It's only designed to target players and villagers by default. We want to make this attack sentry guns. And we actually... There's a retaliate function in here. Oh yeah, here. AI hurt by target. So AI hurt by target assumes that whatever attacked it is more than likely a living target. We're going to check this. Here's how you spawn additional zombies. So if entity calls for help, zombies will come to aid, which is weird when you think about it. This is not what I'm looking for. That's when it gets hurt. Attack on collide. So these are the two that actually defines how the AI attacks. And these are literally if the distance is less than we attack it. Move towards restriction, which, yeah, move towards village, AI wonder, watch closest. These two scripts, by the way, are the reason why AIs take up the most time on your CPU. Where's the retaliate function? Because there's an AI hurt by target function, but this isn't... Get AI target. Yeah, I think it has to be, in order for it to attack it, it has to be a living target. This is retarded. I have a few options to make this work. We're going to deal with it later though, and what it's going to involve is I'm going to literally copy the entire entity living class, strip it down to the bare bones, and then we're going to use it that way. Because then if I strip all this extra junk out of here, which by the way, this stuff will still be in there, it's just it won't be usable. Man, look at all this data. This is, I mean, this is the reason why entities take up 100-something bytes each to just exist, not even do anything. We're not even considering the pathfinders. The pathfinders actually eat up quite a bit of data. We got attributes. I don't want the attributes. I don't want any of this stuff. I mean, we can strip it all out. We just have to hope that something doesn't access my data watcher directly, which will crash. Because I'll probably set it to null, because I don't need the data watcher. And we'll get rid of the whole entity update system. Because we don't need the last attack time, or we don't need the recently hit. We don't need any of that stuff. Actually, we probably could piggyback the recently hit stuff. Man, this is going to be a pain in the rear. You know, even though I said I recoded the sentry to allow the cart to work properly, what I may end up doing for the cart is I may end up using it like a container like I do for the tile, and then utilize my current entity, because if I have to recode this and I'll make it attackable, then I'm going to have to do the same thing with the cart. So this means I would have to do a couple things, and man, there's decreased error. There's got to be a way I can make this work. But the easiest way is to just do a set attackable system. We'll deal with that later, because that's something I'm going to have to work on, and it's going to take a lot of time. For the moment, let's focus on whatever the hell we were doing, which was HP and more synchronization of data. So we got that taken care of. Might need to synchronize our center point. I don't think so. Might be fine. Bullet offset, that's a server-side variable. Aim point, that's a server-side variable. Although if we sync them to the client side, we could do some really cool render stuff, but if we want to do that, we just spawn a packet. We could synchronize the targets if we show who we're aiming at. That's another thing I could just spawn a packet, though. I do need to save the gun instance, but for the moment, we want to just see if the ammo system's working. Test things as we go while I sit here and think. Because I mean, it's going to be a pain to get that whole system to work. Because I want the zombies to attack things. That's the whole point of making the sentry guns entities in the first place, is that the zombies can attack them, skeletons can attack them. When a player shoots at it, it blows up. I mean, I could write a whole AI script system. And that may be the first thing we do, because we're going to have to do it regardless, because the zombies are not programmed to attack anything but players and villagers to start with. Although they do retaliate, so if a skeleton shoots a zombie, they retaliate. So that's the reason why I think if I just make a mini living bases, we'll get an auto retaliation system. But then doing that, I get a lot of extra junk that comes with my system, and I don't want the extra junk. Because if I write an AI script and I just write it really, really well, then I can inject that AI script on anybody's entities and make anybody's entities attack my sentry guns. Because all I got to do is set it as a higher priority than their base retaliation code. And I can do this all via JSON, by the way. So all I got to do is write the AI script and then create it, and then make a JSON system called inject into AI. And it'll just add it and then with a priority. And I already have code that does this. If you guys have seen my AI improvements mod, that's how it functions. Is it injects, it removes the pre-existing AI code and replaces it with a custom in order to reduce the amount of CPU it takes to run AI scripts. Preferably, it's the tan function, which is what gets fixed, and I crashed something. Null point exception on message. Null point exception, send all around, send packet, update tile, send description packet. Send description packet. We nulled on getting the description packet somehow. Not sure how we did that. It's got to be somewhere in the right system we nulled. And it's probably right here. Can't send null data across the packet because null doesn't have a length, and if you don't have a length, you can't measure it. If you can't measure it, you can't turn it back into things because if a string, each character would be a couple bytes. And then those that get converted into your characters get converted into your string array gets converted into your string. So if you send null across, it goes, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't measure null. Although in reality, we could have probably just sent null across the network, but it crashes instead. And by the way, when I say send null across the network, I mean the word null, not the value null, because null has no value. And my brother's cat knocks stuff off my desk, and I look over to the left, and I see all my notebooks are like slid all over the place. It means the cat's been in here. That cat has been getting more and more frustrated with me because I won't let the cat outside. For good reason, by the way, because that cat is an indoor cat and does not know what the outside is. And unfortunately, we live in the middle of a packed city with busy roads and people who don't know how to drive, so cat who's not exposed to world runs cat over. Unfortunately, the cat doesn't understand that and it will retaliate, as cats do. Knocking books over, knocking drinks off the desk, various other things. Could be worse, though. I've had worse cats in my lifetime. The irony is, even though people think I'm a dog person, I've owned more cats in my lifetime than I've owned dogs. I've only owned 4 dogs in my lifetime, but I've owned somewhere near 100 cats almost. Because we would literally adopt any stray cat that came to our house. Okay, searching, reloading. Okay, that seems to be working. The ammo synchronization tag is, it's probably synchronizing, but it's not being initialized. I didn't think about that. Okay, so we want to do here, sentry has ammo equals true. It's a really good spot to stick that. There we go. It means these two guys don't have ammo. I need to get some kind of model edition for this, but my modeler's been way too busy. At this point, I'm about to start throwing contracts up on freelancer.com to get models. I hate to be spending the money I've been earning, but cool thing is I can write it off my taxes. I figured that stuff out now. I spent most of yesterday evening working on tax information and trying to figure out how to do business taxes for the first time. How I've been doing them beforehand is I just took everything in as donations and didn't pay taxes on anything, and now I'm actually going, you know what, this is actually income. We're gonna just call it all income. If it's donations or not donations, it's income. Especially since Patreon told me it's supposed to be handled that way. No, it's all working though. We got our system here doing that. It's doing all its rotation stuff. The smoke packet is a little delayed on the update on its position from the render. Positions still need to be adjusted. I'm gonna wait till I get my in-game editor to adjust a lot of the stuff. But that's good. What else do we want to work on? we could synchronize the gun object so we can actually track how much ammo we have locally now. That'll be a cool thing to do because we can go, here's how much ammo we actually have above the sentry gun. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll work on lasers next. Because I believe I did say I was going to work on lasers. I don't remember if I did though. We do need to save some stats here. So you want to go if mbt.has key turned on. And the reason I'm checking for this key is by default booleans are false. And we don't have any way to turn things on. So mbt.has key. We would go mbt.get boolean. And then here, down here, we want to go mbt.set boolean. Okay, that's good. What else we need to do? We don't need the ammo, we don't need the running, we do need HP. So health equals mbt.get int. And what we want to do with this is we do want to detect for it as well. The reason why is it defaults to 0 if the key's not stored. A lot of the primitive types that you can store will default to various things here. You know, I actually think I think this is a float. Yeah, it's a float. That would have been bad. We want to save current aim. So this one is literally just current aim dot read from MBT, and then you go MBT dot get compound tag current aim. Of course, we need to detect for this because maybe the compound tag isn't there, and I don't know if it will return a default for this one, but might as well. And then we want to save it as well. MBT dot set current or yeah, I guess I can just do 2 MBT. That's a really useful method. We don't want to save status, that's literally a runtime variable. We could save our aim, so we could save our last position we were aimed at, and we could save the last target we were trying to shoot at. I'm not going to do that because it should, on reload, get the same target. If it doesn't get the same target, then he wasn't a priority target to start with, so who cares? We'll implement it later if somebody asks for it, is how we'll do it. We need to save the gun, so we need to go MBT tag compound, gun tag, new MBT gun, and we would go gun instance dot save to gun tag. And the reason we're doing it this way is because if we go to save the stack for the gun tag, it won't be a gun stack. We're using a fake stack to save the gun at the moment. So this one we want to go MBT dot set tag, and we want to go gun instance, and then gun tag. Okay, and that's pretty much it actually. There's a few more things we probably want to save here. Default aim is something we want to save, but it's not implemented right now. And we actually want to do this to do implement. We could save these things, but they're not that important. A lot of this other stuff is just, it's reset every time the sentry loads anyways. Okay, so where were we at? Down here somewhere. So save and load. We need to load the gun instance. So I'm going to go if has key and this means I do need to do something real quick. So we're creating our gun instance right here. And we want to wipe this out pretty much. Goodbye. This needs to be up here now. The reason we're going to do it up here is the gun instance is now a final object. And this will be put right next to the sentry because these two objects are pretty much they exist purely for this sentry gun. And yeah, that's all good. So that means the gun instance will always be there, so we don't have to worry about loading and saving, because as soon as the sentry is created, it'll load. Actually, well, it won't load because we haven't told it to load, but you get the point. What we want to do, we're not going to write the sentry in here. We're going to do it in here. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to write the sentry gun stuff to the stack we have? Or do I want to write it to the tile? For the moment, we're going to write it to the tile. pd.hasKey sentry data. And we're just, I mean, if we need to set it to something, we'll just do it later. So I'm going to go get sentry.load mbt.get compound tag and sentry data. And then we want to go down here. Go if sentry, or you want to go get sentry doesn't equal null. And we probably should do that right here as well. So we want to go get sentry doesn't equal null. This really should mean null because the sentry stack should load right before it and then should load our sentry, but rather not crash when we go to load the game. Okay, that should save and load our sentry gun. What else do we need to do? Synchronize the gun packet, or synchronize the gun instance so we can read ammo. Yeah, the easiest way to do this is this way. So we want to come down here, and we just want to write the gun as an MBT packet. This is definitely not the advisable way to do this. MBT systems have an issue loading and saving from packet data sometimes, mainly because they can change length sometimes. They're not precise. They're not. Easy way to say it is I've had issues with it. So synchronize the gun tag, and then we'll read it back out. So we want to go I think that'll do the trick. Or save gun data. We gotta restart. Apparently I changed the method because we got schema thing or whatever. I hate that. There's supposedly a plugin that you can install for IntelliJ and Eclipse that has a more advanced version of debug reloading that will let you change everything. Eclipse used to come pre-built with it for a while because you could change everything in Eclipse and it would reload. It's actually one of the many reasons I loved it for the longest time. Is I could go and in the middle of a method or in the middle of a class and start changing data. I could go like, well, maybe I want this to be 5 blocks tall. Type in 5 and it reloaded, and actively in game I could see the changes. I may have been with that plugin installed though, because that was back before I understood how to do anything, and I just downloaded pre-built IDEs that came with like all the plugins that were recommended by developers. Nowadays I run pretty light especially after I had my last IDE crash horribly and I lost pretty much all my settings, all of my plugins. I had custom plugins. I did not back them up. I used to have things where I could go in and if I wanted to rework certain pieces, I had a little button I could click on the side and it would go, okay, here's the pre-built template for an item or something, and it will tell you exactly what to do. You can see this with the collar system in IDE. It's the same ideal where you would see a little pinwheel show up and you can click it and then you can change the color. I had that, but I had that for things like selecting entities, selecting entity selectors, um, doing distance math, pre-built calculations of mathematics. I could go and select them. I need to go rebuild all that because, well, that stuff is incredibly useful. Plus, I kind of promised Lex I would do it, and he probably has forgotten I even said that at this point. I was back in a conversation. He's like, I was like, hey, I'll build you guys a plugin for IDE that is designed exclusively for Forge. So after all, I did have the experience, and I don't think anybody else was going to do it. I think we're good. Now we just need to render our spoils. So come down here and add one more tag. So we want to go dot gun instance dot. I probably could just do the clip. So let's do this and see where we get with this. Actually, want to do this like that. Okay, we got a clip instance. It's regenerating every tick though. Oh man, there's so many junk objects being created out of this. Okay, so we want to do clip dot get ammo, and then we want to do it this way as well. I need to rethink this real quick because this will probably crash. And the reason I say this is there's no guarantee that that clip instance is actually good. I think how it's designed is if the clip ever goes null, it's supposed to basically reset to the existing clip system, or the built-in clip is how it's supposed to reset. So we may be getting lucky and maybe doing that for us. But I want to see what we're working with. So we want to get max ammo. Why you? Oh, expected. Why did the string get longer? No, seriously, why did that string get longer? So you get ammo, get max ammo, clip. Yeah, we're getting. What is going on? Like over here, we're getting 0 out of 200. We're getting 0 out of 2. Oh, you know what? I messed up. It's giving me the list of ammo. So I want get ammo count. So what I was seeing is I was seeing every bullet that was loaded in that clip at the end of time. There we go. We can see our ammo. And let's rename that from clip to ammo. By the way, for those not familiar with how the clips work, you can load individual bullets into them, and it'll do any type of bullet. That's the reason why you saw a huge list, is it was telling me all 163 different bullets that were loaded in that gun. Look at that. It's cool, though. We can see what ammo we've got, and I want to drop that down by 0.8 so I can read it better. That's a bit much of a gap. 0.9. Cool. See our ammo states. This has no ammo. This has no ammo. And oh, by the way, this is all debug information. Although for owners of the sentry guns, I may actually put a thing above it. Try to shoot me in the face. Cool. So what else do we want to render? Oh yeah, we're going to do laser guns next. Even though these render like laser guns, these are not actually laser guns. This is debug information is what we're seeing. So we can actually tell what's going on. I'm actually going to change the color here in a second because the laser gun we're about to make is a red laser. So we need to go to the sentry, and we have debug ray traces turned on, so I gotta change the color in here. It's in here somewhere. By the way, I did note I changed to a weapon user object right here. So this is an interface that is used to actually figure out what is going on with the shooter. The player is automatically wrapped with this, which actually, by the way, I haven't checked guns yet. I haven't checked if they still work. It'd be really important that they actually continue working. Sentry ammo, handgun ammo is what I want. So this would be really important. My ray trace has moved. That's not good. Reloading still works. Reloading's not working. Okay, we broke the guns somehow. Oh man. Get gun instance. Oh, I see what's going on here. So we got gun cache contains player. But then we're matching weapon user. We don't want to do that. We want to get entity. We want to get shooter. That's why it's not working. Okay, I hit play. Oh, yeah, we're reloading now. So that may have fixed. Oh, nope, no, we broke it. It's broken. It's consuming ammo. It's not giving me the clip back. This is why it is always a dumb idea to rewrite things before you actually get things where you want them at. Gun cache contained a value but did not match the player. Stack, expected, they're identical to each other. Gun cache contained a value. Wow, crap. Okay, so we're storing the gun cache, the player. Okay, restoring player. Okay, so we're getting that. So now we're having a problem with the weapon matching. So where is the weapon match check at? Gun contained value but did not match the held item for the player. So we needed stacks match instance to stack and stack. So we're having a save problem. So I hate this save issue. It's really dumb. The thing is, it's not printing off MBT. So what's going on here? Oh my god, this guy just spamming me with emails. Like no shit. I say this because I was out taking a break, and between this guy and this guy, I get several emails a day. So like you see there's an email there, and if I kept scrolling down, you'd see emails from both of them. I don't reply to any of their emails, by the way, but they just keep spamming me with stuff. You'd think after a while they'd realize I just don't care. Okay, so our reloading isn't working properly. So there's something wrong with our reload system. We're not going to worry about this at the moment because it's not exactly important to get the handgun working, or rather the guns in general. We wanted to work on lasers, and I need to change the ray trace. So debug ray trace, I just need to change the color. So this needs to go to green. And I just heard a sentry gun reload behind me, and let's see if it reloaded. Oh, it won't reload. So I think the whole reload system in general is just broken. Yeah, it's green laser now. Looks a little different. It'll distinguish from the actual damage lasers. So we got this. And the sentry we're going to work on, which I think is already in here, is the laser sentry. So yeah. If you can tell, it doesn't have a render of any kind. Its data is not set properly. It's there, but not there. So I've got to go initialize this data. Content, laser. Okay, here we go. 0.8 is probably more appropriate for this. Barrel length, I think, is 1. My mom broke the garage door again. I can hear her trying to close it. Yeah, whoever installed the garage door system for this house put these little laser things and they attached them to the rails of the garage door. So as it heats up and cools down, they move. As that door opens and shuts, they move, and they just get offline from each other. And I know how to fix them. They're really easy to fix, but they don't stay in position because I haven't gone and got something like liquid welder to just stick them in place so they don't move. Anyways, we want to go copy the render code from here. And we want to replace all of these with sentry.laser, which apparently is only 1. We do want to replace these, so replace that with and now all I have to do is come through here and redo this stuff. So we got to redo the yaw and pitch data. And then when we get that, we can then do the laser damage effect. So the damage data is already set up. It is programmed into Armory itself. All we have to do is just define it. And Taz, no whining. My dog's gonna freak out for a couple minutes because of my mom left, and the dog doesn't like to be left alone. Okay, so we got our energy-based damage type. So we got laser. So ammo type is laser, ID laser. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Taz, here, I'll pet you. Will that make you happy? Okay, go lay down. No. We don't have exact damage types here yet. We'll have to set up a render system for this. So there'll be some kind of trigger that would trigger this, but we'll work on that. I'll figure it out here in a second. First things first, we got to get the model running. When we get the model running, we can move on from there. And the slimes need to die. There we go. Actually, I can just shut this off so I don't have to worry about them respawning and then blaring in my ears. Okay, so we got to reset this. These all tie back to the laser turret, so we just got to reset the models and textures down here. Okay, take us off the other screen real quick so I can just copy and paste a few things. So this needs to go right here. That looks good. Domain's correct. I just got to get the textures. This will be turret laser. I probably didn't reset the texture name in the AA turret either. Yeah, there's no one right there, so that'd be turret AA. Okay, so we got to get the texture real quick, so we need to go up a directory, down a couple more. I just got to find the correct one. Eventually we're going to code the hostile neutral system, but that'll come when I actually get the whole permission node system up, like I've said before. This is set up mostly. We just have to now go stare at the model. Which actually, let me pull this back here. Luckily, I don't think this one has too many parts to it. I'm going to say that, and I thought about it, and not too many parts. So put that on that screen, put that over there. We just do what we did for the last two and just update things. So we need to figure out what parts are what. And in this case, I think there is no base to this. Yeah, there's no base, so we can get rid of the base. There's just a yaw and a pitch component. So first one is this. So this would be base plate. There's a left mount, right mount, okay, then we have a body, which is the first pitch component. There's no ammo system for this because, well, there's no ammo. The way we would probably do a ammo system would just be change the texture based on if we have energy or not. I gotta remember who actually made this model, because I have a feeling like I did something to it, but I can't remember if I solely created it or if I modified it or what, and it's actually bugging me now. Because, I mean, it is using my naming convention, so maybe I just came through here and renamed everything. I do that for most models. Or at least I used to do that for all the Techni models. I never made the texture, so the texture is definitely probably made by somebody else. I didn't do texture things. That wasn't something I did. So if you launch this, we should get a new sentry gun. So it'll be the first energy-based one in the list. So this will give us a test of the energy-based mechanic. But if the reload system's broken, then yeah. And I think I actually know why the reload system is broken. Let me go stare at it real quick while I wait for this to load. I don't need this. Don't need that. I'll leave this open in case we need to edit it. I can get rid of most of this pretty much. Let me go to the sentry gun so I can easily get access to the gun instance. Okay, so we got consume shot, which should be fine. Because this whole system's working. We were watching it consume bullets. This is how the energy mechanic's going to work. It's just going to drain power from the system. We'll have to set up some batteries and stuff to make that work. Okay, so there's do reload tick. We saw reload tick work. And then it just does reload get inventory. So let me go check to see if the inventory mechanic is failing, which I don't think it is. I mean, I can understand the inventory mechanic failing on the sentry guns because, well, sentry guns. But, we'll have to test this in a second. We gotta test to see if the energy mechanic's gonna work in the first place, and I don't think I've programmed the tile base to be an energy acceptor at the moment. So it's just not gonna run. I could just provide an infinite buffer. Hey, look at that. Beautiful little sentry gun. Of course, he has no ammo. Ammo null. And he never will have ammo. This guy's still running. Okay, so I'm going to test the gun real quick, just because I need to test this reload mechanic and see if it's working properly. And what are we at recording time? We're at, oh Jesus man, we're at 50 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tick reload. Okay, so yeah, it gets the inventory from the player. And then we check to make sure we're not a manually fed clip. Okay. Which is used for the unload mechanic, although I think unload is called no matter what right now. Inventory exists. We're not manually fed. Do action, so it's going to call unloaded weapon, which means we actually need to put this here. So this is going to unload whatever clip we had in the gun. We don't care. Well, I guess it's going to run that line no matter what I do to it. So we're loading best clip now. So we're going to go through the slots. Item grass. Let me open my thing here. It's grass, nothing, slime ball, gun. Okay. Gun, ammo clip, clip, go. Okay. Best clip. Play audio. Cool. Decrease slot size. Return true. Update. Oh! You know what? This is our problem right here. We're not updating the entity. If we don't update the entity, we can't do anything. So, cool. So this guy's not going to work no matter what because I need to update his logic to tell him he has ammo, so we're going to restart anyways. So I need to cut this entire section out and then go find the weapon user object, and we need to make a new method. So we need to call this void update weapon stack. This will be item stack, stack, and then string editor. That's what we'll call this. And we just need to implement this. And we're going to make this the default method because the sentry guns don't really care to do this. Okay. And then we just got to set it up. So I need to go find my user object. So player is literally the only thing that can actually do this, because it's the only thing we know that has an inventory. So this would be public void, what do we call it? Okay, we don't, oh wait, we need, okay, so this is going to be called weapon stack. Actually, this is going to be called update, so this actually is called updated. Get rid of that. Then we want to do entity.getHeldItem. Then we want to go on this call, get inventory. What is the inventory of a player? It's an instance of inventory player. Oh, come on, typos, etc. Port class. Okay. Then we want to, this line is actually player, or this is entity detect and send changes. And then we just have a debug line that just tells us you updated. Cool. And we just gotta go literally everywhere, and then we gotta call weapon user. Okay, let's see. Somebody's asking for help real quick. So profiler, some weird performance issues in my chunk data. Profiler shows a big gap between caller and callee, but there's not much in between. I usually see that with synchronization, but there's not such thing here. What else could cause a stall that doesn't show? Oh, what's it called? Shoot. I have it on my desktop. Okay, so weapon user dot update weapon stack, and we would just literally call toStack to this. And we just want to pretty much copy this front path, and just every single spot we see that. Okay, that should fix our gun stack. Because in reality, what was happening is our gun is reloading. So our gun does actually think it has ammo. But because the stack in the inventory isn't updating, it's not thinking it's the same stack. Therefore, it won't let any of the player's actions activate. So that's fixed. I need to make this, actually no, we're not going to make this abstract because I actually use this in debug testing. But when it comes to this, so if we want to apply this to a zombie, we would actually have to come up with a fake inventory for a zombie, and we would have to give that fake inventory a gun slot, etc. But the rest of this should work. I need to go do the laser thing real quick, so chunk data, if chunk is loaded. Chunk data update tip. Wow, nothing there. Downside of testing Minecraft is that you get stuff like this. So he's got yeah, man, he's like, there's nothing there, so okay, back to doing this stuff. So in order to get the energy weapons to work, we need to pretty much tell it has ammo. So there is a has ammo check. So we want to do this real quick. So we would go if gun data dot reload type dot requires items. So if we go if it does not require items, we want to return true. And this actually needs to be get gun data. Okay, so we got the ammo, do this stuff. We just need to tell the sentry we have, actually the sentry should understand it has ammo. Because what happens if we create, actually there should be a system here. Actually, right here it is. This is what we want. Put this up here. So we want gun instance. Actually, this is already set up. Gun instance of created the sentry.get ammo doesn't equal null. If this is the case, we set the ammo type, and then the ammo type then is the chambered round. Yeah, that'll work. The next check. Actually, I don't think there's a check to see if we can consume ammo. So has ammo, which should return true. Chambered round should be good, so we shouldn't reload. So we go has ammo. Then it comes down to targets. So if we're not reloading, yeah. Let's see. I just had to really tell somebody how to decompile code real quick. Okay. I don't think we have to deal with this. Instance reload weapon. We basically want to go right here, and we want to go if get gun data dot get reload type dot requires item. So we want to go if that is not true. Then we want to return true, because any kind of reloading for energy-based or fluid-based weapons or something, so like we had a magic-based weapon, it has to be handled outside of the gun class, because the gun class is not capable of understanding how to deal with non-item based reloads. So we block this action, and actually what we could do is we could do it right here. This would ensure that things work properly. I'm going to check the it has ammo check really quick, because I think I forgot to put an exclamation mark there. And I think the has ammo check is up instead of down. I need to reorganize this class. Okay, here's has ammo. Cool, we're good there. Okay, and let's see if this is going to work. I'm hoping the energy-based stuff actually does work. I'll have to do a laser render system, but I'll do that in the next video because we're already at hour 5 plus the previous part of the recording, which is I think 28. So this will be an hour 30-minute. I've been trying to avoid doing 2-hour videos, even though the reality of it is how these work is I make a recording, step away for only a few minutes, and then come back and make another recording and rinse and repeat over and over again. Until I get stuff done. Fortunately, I do have to get other things done today, so this may be the only video I produce today, but we'll see how things go as I don't exactly plan my days out. Only thing I've got to do is study for some exams, or study for one exam, do the other exam, because the other exam is a take-home exam, which I'm happy about. Imagine programming a full server application without having any access to any of your resources. Most of us programmers do not program from memory. This is the reason why you'll see me jump to a class file, copy content out of the class file, because I know where the class file is. I know what the class file does. I know what the code does. I just don't memorize the code, even though I could recreate it from scratch if I had to. After all, I've rewritten some of this stuff over and over and over again. Google's also great resources, like trying to do things like get aim here. My trigonometry skills suck. I never took a trigonometry class in my entire life, even though I kind of wish I did, and that actually really hurt me when I took other classes. Like taking physics, I went through technically I went through semesters of physics, or I went through 4 quarters of physics, but it got turned into 3 semesters of physics. So it's, however that conversion worked. Actually, I think they may have even turned it into 2 now. That was back when there was a quarter system for colleges or universities, and then they switched to a semester base, so it's like 4 to 3, and the conversion was not good. Okay, you saw the gun was working, and as soon as it went to go fire, it crashed. Get chambered round. So chamber next round equals ammo.peak. Get chambered round should not be null. So something consumed the chambered round. We're going to do something different here. So we're going to go public ammo data override round. I got to set a separate variable, so I think what's happening is it's being screwed up. So luckily get chambered round works. So we want to go basically like this. If there's an override round, then we want to return override round. And I need to do null. I'm programming in so many languages recently that's acceptable in some languages and not others, and then Java doesn't do it, and you guys get the point, right? So get chambered round. So this needs to be get chambered round. Everything else utilizes this correctly. Now we just need to go check our consume shot. So we want to get, this needs to be get chambered round doesn't equal null. Consume ammo. This sets chamber round to null. So for requires items, we set chamber round to null. If not, which is what we're working on, we want to go, okay, get chambered round. We're going to do this real quick. I'm tired of like every single spot utilizing this. So we only want to utilize this in very specific spots. Everything else should be a get method. And that's how I kind of use that underscore, by the way. Is how that's designed to be used. It's not actually, Java standards, I don't think it allows it. It is a standard, I believe, that is used in things like C and C# though. So we keep getting chambered around on these. And this needs to be get chambered around. So dereload tick. So if single shot or get, okay, should work. And then this is the part that most likely broke it, by the way. So get chambered round equals null. That does need to be that. That's a direct check. Okay, here's a direct check. And then we do get chambered round here. That should fix it. There's a couple spots I'm most likely going to have to do things with, like this needs to be override round. And then we're going to hit build, make project, because there's going to probably be a couple spots that's going to fail in. Nope. Cool. Yeah, should be good. And I'm going to go to gun assist real quick. Is chambered around a public variable? Yeah. I'm going to hit stop real quick. You need to be private. Make project. Cool. Nothing is running on it. So we're going to run debug cycle, let it run, and hopefully we can get our laser gun working here. And then next video, or actually if it works or doesn't work, we'll do this, finish it up in the next video. So we'll let this run real quick. And then my dog's playing the whining game. It's a nice sunny day outside. I think my dog wants outside nonstop. Unfortunately, I can't just leave the door open because the cat will get out. I was going to put a doggy door in there, but that cat is intelligent enough to use a dog door. I might build a remote control door opener though. That might be a thing. Shouldn't be too hard to build. I just need I need a servo to open the latch and shut the latch. And then I just need a piston to open and shut the door. It has to be a weak force piston so that way if the door doesn't want to open, it'll not break the door. Taz, can you chill for a second? Come on. Chill. She probably wants fed. It's actually probably exactly what she wants. Because I did not feed her this morning. Taz. Hey, no. Behave. It's amazing. Small dog, very bossy. Okay, almost there. Almost loaded. It's almost where I enjoy working on my own game, is my own game just instantaneously launches. You click play and it's open. Game runs on 75 megabytes of RAM. Probably by the time I'm done, it'll probably be like a 300 megabyte RAM game, but the point is it's really quick. We crashed. Whatever. I'll work on this some more here in a bit.